Davis from downtown.
Boy, is he shooting the ball well lately.
Shagwa driving in. And he'll go to the line on the other side. UCF, a great start at home. Up 5-0.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5 Hour Energy Shot. Get back to 100%. And in part by Infinity. Empower the drive. And Craft. Family greatly.
Welcome back to Orlando. Great start for the Knights here at home. And welcome courtside with Mark Wise. I'm Dave Leno. So many injuries for each team. For UCF, B.J. Taylor's been great, but Jamal McMurray for SMU has been shining bright as well.
Two guards really on top of their game and lighting up the scoreboard lately. Jamal McMurray in his last 5 games is averaging better than 22 points per game.
Griffin for 3, and he is trying to go off of his performance on Wednesday against South Florida with his 4 threes.
Yeah, he busted out of a mini slump because in his previous 2 games he was 1 for 9 from bonus land, but made 4 in that War on I-4 victory midweek.
Davis for 3. That gets the home roll.
My goodness, a guy that is shooting 26% from three-point land is lighting it up.
Taylor. Davis spinning around. Griffin driving baseline and will solo. Amelagu gets it back from Douglas and an offensive foul. No shot there. UCF leading by 10 over the Mustangs in Orlando. Back in a moment. An action-packed day amongst the ESPN networks. Texas facing Oklahoma. Both teams looking to get back on track. The Sooners have dropped the last 4. West Virginia going up against Kansas. Share of 13 consecutive Big 12 titles. UNC facing Louisville, led by Dangadell and Quentin Snyder. And Wichita State against Cincinnati, a prime American Conference matchup. Cincinnati, Mark, recently had their 16-game winning streak snapped there.
And part of the shakeup this week as Houston beats Cincinnati. Wisconsin at home in the Kohl Center got Purdue. Penn State over Ohio State. How about the upset on the West Coast with San Francisco? And then last night, St. Bonaventure ended Rhode Island's win streak. Hey, guess what? St. Bonaventure has some quality wins. They're getting in. The Bonnies are in. I'm telling you now, they're in. Rhode Island, they're in.
Bonnies have 2 prime guards, Matt Mobley, Jalen Adams, who can light it up from all over the court. Here in Orlando, it's UCF leading by 10. SMU is without a field goal, 0 for 7 to start play.
SMU mixing up their defenses, a little 3-quarter press, falling back man-to-man.
3 to shoot here for Taylor. Off the heel. There's a gal for SMU. Mark, the committee is so focused on the quadrants here. Define quadrant 1 wins, in particular how it affects these 2 teams.
Well, what the NCAA has done is better equated the range of a road win as compared to the range of a home win. So home victories count in the RPI 1 through 30, but drop down to the bottom. It's 1 through 75 for a road victory, and I love the new definition of what a quality win or your best win comes from, and it's quadrant 1, and we're going to talk a lot about quadrant 1 today.
Big quadrant 1 victory for UCF was against then number 24 Alabama, who's having a marvelous season under Avery Johnson. Here's Agal. He'll go to the line.
Well, it would really help if Agal could become some sort of block-to-block presence for the Mustangs on offense.
Coming up later, we'll have number 14 North Carolina and Louisville. The Tar Heels have won their last 4, while the Cardinals have won 2 straight. This Saturday showcase game, presented by 5 Hour Energy, begins at 8:15 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app if you're on the go. Tar Heels have beaten Duke, NC State, and Notre Dame recently, led by Luke May and Joel Berry. And speaking of those Quadrant 1 victories on the SMU side as well, Mark, they beat then number 2 Arizona and also won at Wichita State.
Well, if you win at Wichita State, that should show you what your team is capable of. Now, Shake Milton was simply dynamite in that game. Speaking of dynamite, I think Taylor sized up Pyle, the walk-on, and said, I can take you. Take a look at the SMU record. Their strength of schedule, okay. Their RPI is way high, but the BPI really likes the Mustangs. 2 and 4 in Quadrant 1, 5 and 8 when you combine Quadrants 1 and 2 with those 2 quality wins. Tim Jankovich's team does have 3 Quadrant 3 losses, but they're all without Shake Milton. If SMU could right the ship, if they could win here today, if they could get Shake Milton back and show the committee with some remaining Quadrant 1 opportunities, just maybe. And I get it. That's a lot of ifs.
Taylor going to the floor. Alternating possession will go the opposite way. And essentially the committee recognizes now more than ever just how meaningful road wins against the top 75 are, which are those Quadrant 1 victories that you're dissecting.
No question about it. But Tim Jankovich knows that his team is challenged, shorthanded, especially on the offensive end. Hey, here's the bottom line, Dave. When you take Shake Milton out of the lineup, you're taking a pro. This is a guy that's projected in the first round of the NBA draft in every draft I've seen. He is the closest thing to Bradley Beal that I have seen since Brad Beal played at Florida. Similar shooting action, similar range. I think Shake Milton is going to make a really good pro.
And he'll join us in the second half of this one as well, missing his 5th consecutive. The Mustangs are 0-4 without him recently. Still second in the American in scoring at 18 points per game. Went looking down low for a gal. Davis charged to him. Allen tried to go for the swipe. Landrum for 3, and he connects.
A guy that has shot threes, he just has not made them. 20% on the year, but he has shot 53 3-balls.
Looking for their 17th win of the season and 8th in the conference. Griffin for 3. Give them 2 in the game. 8 points in the game for Dayon Griffin. Agal taking Davis with the left hand, and he traveled, no basket. Come to another timeout with UCF leading by 10.
Well, again, different guys stepping up, but Dayon Griffin for the Knights from bonus land. UCF up 10.
For the Big 12 as the ultimate diaper dandy lands in Lawrence. Oklahoma versus Kansas, Monday at 9 on ESPN.
Welcome back to Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. 6 live games on ESPNU featuring the American Ivy League coming up later tonight in the Big 12. And there's a look, Mark, at Shake Milton, conference's preseason player of the year, missing his 5th straight game today.
Well, the truth is in the numbers. Not only is SMU 0-4 in this 4 games, in the 4 games that Milton has missed, but their offense, their defense, both ends of the floor have just suffered immensely.
Will join us in the second half of this contest as well. Excited to get his thoughts on how he's trying to come back. Coaching staff says don't sleep on him. He may return later on this season with 4 games left in the American. Davis amid the trees. Hamelago sees a seam, drops it off for a gal, and a foul.
I like the fact that SMU looked for early offense. In transition, Hamelago gets feet in the paint. Agal catches, finishes, goes to the free throw line for the and one opportunity. He's wide open at the arc. Take the shot at the arc.
McMurray with the runner. His first field goal this afternoon.
Again, early offense. More possessions. I like it.
There's Hamelago trying to take Griffin with the pull-up. And that's smooth.
That is good news for SMU. That's the best he has looked on a shot in the last couple of weeks. Maybe the wrist is feeling a little better.
Final minute of our first half here in Orlando. Taylor with the right hand will go to the line as the call is going to be administered to Jamal McMurray. Two seconds left here for McMurray. And he can't beat the horn here, but a solid comeback there for SMU, even though they're trailing at the half. Thanks in part to A.J. Davis for UCF.
UCF needs its best players to be its best players, and usually that's A.J. Davis and B.J. Taylor.
9-point lead here for UCF at the break. Coming up next, our college basketball halftime report after these messages. Welcome back to Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. It's a beautiful, picturesque day in Orlando, Florida. It's UCF leading SMU by 9. And for UCF, they have been very balanced from three-point landmark.
Well, only 4 guys have scored, but they have knocked down 4 free balls. 2 from A.J. Davis and 2 from Dayon Griffin.
We're pleased to be joined by the conference's preseason player of the year, Shake Millen, missing your 5th straight game with a right hand injury. How's it going?
It's going well, you know, steady rehab, steady recovering, and just working with my trainer is doing a lot better.
What's the season been like for you? You started off great. You're second in the conference in scoring with 18 points per game, but right now you're watching your teammates out there.
Oh, man, it's definitely tough, but, you know, I think my teammates and my coaching staff do a really good job of keeping me engaged and with high spirits, and, you know, I just try to tell them what I see on the floor, and we just go from there.
Good luck with the rehab. We want you back out on the floor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm excited. Thank you.
Best of luck moving forward, Shake. Thanks again for joining us here. 7-point game here in Orlando. Back in a moment.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Infinity. Empower the drive. And M&M's. Always fun.
UCF opened their baseball campaign winning 6-3 over number 15 Virginia. They host Rice at 5 p.m. today. Yesterday it was pitcher Chris Williams who got the win after 5 innings of work, had 3 strikeouts. Ryland Thomas also was successful in the matchup, and Dallas Beaver as well with 2 RBIs. They face Rice at 5 p.m. today in Orlando. And also the UCF softball team in action against Texas Tech and Florida A&M. Taylor trying to beat the horn. This will go back to the Mustangs here, Mark. And SMU down 7 right now. What do you want to see from SMU on the road to try to lock this up?
Well, right now, their defense is allowing them to be the hang-around team. But eventually, for all the defending and rebounding you do, you have to score. You have to make shots.
Yeah, plethora of injuries to say the least for Johnny Dawkins and Tim Jankovic. Taylor with 7 points in the game. We mentioned Taco Fall, Aubrey Dawkins' son. Would have been a terrific player if he would have saw time here, stemming from his Michigan days.
And including Chance McSpadden, as you mentioned earlier, probably gone for the rest of the year now with a finger problem.
McMurray getting the call from Jankovic.
What these 2 head coaches have had to deal with all year, I would not wish on anybody.
Way off there from Shagwa, contested by Miles Douglas of UCF. And these are 2 of the top defensive teams, not only in the American, and we can't state this enough, Mark, but in the nation as well. Taco Fall, a big reason for UCF, but give credit to the other players out there as well.
I'm surprised that SMU has gotten as much mileage out of their man-to-man defense.
Davis wanted to take a Milligan. Count it and a foul for A.J. Davis. UCF steamrolling at home. They're up by 9 here over SMU. Thanks in part to the play of A.J. Davis in Orlando.
But again, shot clock is late.
Davis on a Meligu. There's the help to Jesus with the baseline pull-up. But the defense for SMU, despite that bucket from UCF, has definitely improved in this one.
Very good. They've been very good in their man-to-man today.
Shagwell, that was tipped there by DeJesus. Davis taking matters into his own hands. It's been a great matchup to watch. Him against Amelagu. Allen with 5 to shoot here for the Knights with the pull-up. DeJesus with the up and under and a foul. Nifty work by Cesar DeJesus.
You never know when a little defensive play will turn you on offensively. DeJesus up and under with the finish.
Here's our Taco Bell what to watch for, Mark. You mentioned Wichita State, Cincinnati, the first meeting between the two stealthy schools. Houston Temple, and then SMU facing Wichita State, which would be a quadrant 1 win for the Mustangs.
Yeah, there's nothing not to like about that panel. Every game there is a great game.
3 to shoot here for Davis. Can't get the roll. Went with the miss for SMU.
I'm not saying Temple has to win that game because of their quadrant 1 wins, but it sure would kind of look good and be kind of a validation game after the way they played so well at Wichita State Thursday night.
Yeah, Joe Lenardi has Temple as a next 4 out. If they would have defeated Wichita State, where would they have been in the field in your eyes?
I think they would have jumped in. I think they would have bypassed some people. It's that strength of schedule. Everybody wants to focus on the 11 losses. Well, if you have a top 10 strength of schedule, it only makes sense that you're going to have more losses. But it's those wins. What other team in the country has wins over Auburn, Clemson, and Wichita State? Let me answer that. None. Nobody has those kinds of wins. It gets tricky for Temple because they also have quadrant 3 and 4 losses. The most unique resume in the country right now, the Temple Owls.
There was the 600th career rebound for A.J. Davis. Also a double-double today. Give him 7 double-doubles on the season. Davis for 3. Right on cue. Looks at his bench and loves it here in Orlando.
Oh, my goodness.
Largest lead here for the Knights at 19, and Tim Jankovic has to call a timeout. We'll step aside as well. UCF steamrolling on their home floor. Dave Leno, Mark Wise, and our entire ESPN crew in Orlando. It's UCF leading by 19, thanks in part to the versatile and stealthy A.J. Davis.
But Davis has simply been fantastic today. He has continued his hot shooting, especially in the last couple of games. But when he can complement his outside game with the way he can slash to the basket, he's an isolation matchup problem.
Coming up later, well, number 14 North Carolina and Louisville, the Tar Heels have won their last 4, while the Cardinals have won 2 straight. This Saturday showcase game presented by 5 Hour Energy begins at 8:15 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app if you're on the go.
That is a huge quadrant 1 opportunity at home for Louisville. Cardinals only have 1 quadrant 1 win.
Acting head coach David Padgett has won the last 2 over Georgia Tech and Pitt after 3 straight losses. Tangentel, Quentin Snyder playing very well for the Cardinals. See how SMU responds here in the half court. Shagwell will give it up. Nick Murray, who's been quiet, in and out for him. Brown has the miss. Taylor on Douglas, creating some space. No basket here, but we'll go to break nonetheless. 19-point lead for UCF. Back after this.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5 Hour Energy Shots. Get back to 100%.
Sports Center after Oregon, UCLA on ESPN with Linda Cote and John Anderson. We'll have a full recap of the NBA slam dunk, three-point skills contest from All-Star Weekend, plus the teams that made their case for a top seed with Selection Sunday just 3 weeks away. And the debut of SC featured Bubba, NASCAR's first full-time African-American Cup driver since the 70s, and how he could be the face of change. SportsCenter, 12:15 a.m. Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. McMurray on the lob for Shagwa, that was too far.
One thing that they're going to have to do, they're going to have to win a couple of games just to be NIT eligible. I get asked about the NIT all the time, Dave. I love the NIT. The NIT is an invite. It's a privilege to play. Is it the tournament you wanted to be in? No.
They look forward to seeing Milton out there when it comes to American Conference tournament play. Shagwa back to win! And that's a poster move on Douglas.
I told you, Jimmy Witt has got major hops.
Well, UCF will improve to 7-9 overall, 8-6 in the American Conference. It's Nathan Lang just going to wait this one out. 26 points in both halves for the Knights as they defeat SMU at home.
Again, A.J. Davis got it done on both ends of the floor, both as a scorer and as a defender. And as a result, Johnny Dawkins' team, perhaps they move a little closer to the conversation.
0-5 without Shake Milton as well. Lowest scoring result for SMU, held to 37 points. They lose their 12th game this year, 9th in the conference. We'll talk some more from Orlando on the other side. Speaking of the defense, how has that changed for your coaching staff when game planning without Taco Fall? And what has been different now with 8 consecutive games without Taco? You'll miss him the rest of the year due to injury.
Our principles and stuff are still the same. You know, our mindset is still the same. It's just little minor tweaks here and there.
We will wrap it up on the other side with UCF head coach Johnny Dawkins when we return to Orlando. This was the 8th game without Taco Fall, done for the rest of the year. We talked with you pregame about how your defensive sets have changed without Taco. How did you like the way it was done today?
Well, I liked it, but we've been defending well, with Taco gone. It's been difficult because it's a huge adjustment for us and the opponents that we're playing against in their preparation for him. But our guys understand how we have to defend to be successful with him out, and they've really bought into that, and it's given us a chance to win.
Congratulations.
Coach, thanks so much.
Thanks,
Great
guys.
work.
Thank you.
It's Coach Johnny Dawkins of UCF. They win it over SMU. Action-packed day here on ESPNU. Coming up next, Iowa State and Kansas State here on the U. Texas Tech and Baylor also at 7:30 Eastern on ESPNU, followed by the nightcap, Yale and Harvard. Huge match in the Ivy League as Penn is commanding the Ivy right now. But it is UCF successful today over SMU, improving to 17-9 overall. SMU falls to 15-12. For Mark Wise and our entire crew in Orlando, this is Dave Leno saying so long. Coming up next, Iowa State and Kansas State.